Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Bronte. So, in the last episode, we managed to spend some time in the seminar and we actually took the path of the priests. And now we'll be continuing on that path. We did learn a little bit about the twins and some of their history and just the history of like the Duke from a different perspective this time, the rebellious Duke, as they kept calling him. And we also learned something about the Black Book, about some very ancient book that has some very powerful magic in it that they can't do anything with. And I wonder if that's going to play a part in things later on, but who knows? We'll see how things go. But for right now, we'll pick up on the second sacrament. Also, just a quick little note, this video might be a little bit shorter just because it's a little bit later into the day and I do need to get some rest so I can get up in the morning for work. But and it's also might be the last video, or I won't say the last video, but there might be a bit of a gap in between videos because there's some other stuff that I want to record. It depends on what time I get home tomorrow and if I can actually manage all that stuff or whatnot. If I can actually do both, then I'll do both, but we'll see how it goes. I want to, there's something else I want to record, but we'll see how it goes. Anywho, just wanted to make a little note of that. So the second sacrament, you wanted to speak to Jean again, but she disappeared the next day. Some say she was sent somewhere else to study. Strange. Why did she tell you nothing? Why did she not say goodbye? You keep waiting for news from her at first, but as the days go by, your thoughts turn to the upcoming exams and the second sacrament. All the sacred scriptures, holy procedures, and sacred hymns have been memorized long ago. You know the names of every disciple of the elder and the younger, all the patriarchs of the provinces, from the very first to the present day. And most importantly, your faith is strong and your confidence is unshakable. The exams are behind you now. On the day of your second sacrament, you come to the great temple of the twins already dressed in the priest's cassock. Father Jeremiah holds your belt in one hand. He will conduct your sacrament. His other hand holds the sacred book. You are to kiss it to show your complete submission to the will of the twins. You approach the altar on the commoner's side. The jagged floor hurts as it bites into your bare feet, but there is a hint of pleasure in that pain. You kneel before Father Jeremiah on the lowest of steps leading to the altar. He speaks the words of your new lot above you. Thou shalt now carry the will of the twins to the world. Whosoever cometh to thee, thou shalt give him guidance. The twins are love, and will, and law. Thou shalt bring it to the world. Thy new lot is to interpret the lots and give counsel in the faith. Arise, priest. You kiss the book and stand up, confidence blooming within you. You now know the answers to all questions. You are now a messenger of the true word, the one who carries true understanding. You have the power to guide people toward a righteous path, to help them see the truth, to help them find answers, for the twins will it so. New strength fills you. By the grace of the elder, you may pray to him to heal and cure those who suffer. By the law of the younger, you may pray to him to bind your foes with his wondrous power. When no one is looking, you reach for your back. The mark of the lash is gone. You feel as though you can breathe more easily now. On the morning after, you are to conduct the sacrament for the first time. You walk into a small temple on the outskirts of Eterna. Acolytes are running to and fro, preparing for the ritual, while you repeat the words of the lots that you must tell the children. Slowly, the temple fills with people. You stand at the altar now, the sword in one hand and the lash in the other. 3 boys are to receive the sacrament today, a little nobleman and 2 low-born boys of the same age. The noble boy's parents are nervous and ask you to hurry with the sacrament, and so you begin. With confidence and proper pace, you recite the words of a noble's lot to the little boy kneeling before you. Then you carefully bring the flat of the sword to his lips. The boy kisses it, and you thank the twins under your breath. Now it's time for the common children to receive their sacrament. You notice movement in the temple out of the corner of your eye. Someone is standing in the doorway. It is the silhouette of a woman. You recognize her. She looks sterner now, harsher, but the most striking feature about her now is her eyes. They are cold, yet curious. Something glints on Jean's belt now. It is the silver seal of the Inquisition. Do continue, priest. The boys stand before you, just like you and Nathan when you were boys. You were just like them at your first sacrament. The elder of the two kneels on the jagged floor. He winces slightly but holds back the tears. You recite his new lot for him and strike him twice with the lash. He shudders, yet humbly accepts the first suffering of his life. They bring the other boy to you next. He is kicking and squirming, and his face is red with tears. They force him to kneel, and he falls on all fours. The floor draws blood from his hands. Adult hands hold him still. Adult voices chide him angrily. You say the words of his new lot and strike him once with the lash. The lash cuts right through the boy's shirt and soaks it with blood. The boy's cries turn to screams. You raise your head slightly and notice Jean's watchful eye. She is there, waiting. You look back down at the boy. He looks so much like Nathan, just as frightened, just as distraught, just as defenseless. You hesitate, unsure of what to do. The ritual must be finished. By your lot, you must bring forth the will of the twins and perform the sacrament of suffering. But this little boy huddling at your feet is so young. He will no doubt see so much suffering in his life. Perhaps you should show him that the world can be merciful too. Oof. Well, interesting. You don't get too many choices in this game that are just purely cut and dry as far as, what actually ends up happening. Most of the times it's kind of dependent upon stats, so it's kind of interesting that you have something like this. Have mercy on the child. You tell the child to rise. The sacrament is done. Your willpower will go up by +5, but Jean will go down by 1. Or you can strike with all your might. Your willpower will go down by 5. And Jean's opinion of you will go up by 1. I'm gonna try to stay on her nice side. She's scary, and she's a part of the Inquisition, so I don't want her wrath. And I want to adhere to the old ways, even though I went to that blasphemous priest. You cast away all doubt, you muster all your will, and the lash cuts through the air as it strikes the boy's back again. His skin parts, his blood drips onto the floor. The boy gasps for air, doubled over in pain, then sags in the acolyte's arms. With a stern voice, you tell him to rise and live by the lot he has been given. The boy barely gets back to his feet, then walks back to his mother, panting. You hand the sword and the lash to an acolyte, then turn to face the altar and say a quick prayer to the twins for this day. You hear quiet footsteps behind you. I'm glad to see that you didn't hesitate. You must never show mercy if you are to carry out the will of the twins. You help the boy understand the full burden of his lot. That is a blessing that will guide him towards the peak of the pillar. Jean puts her hand on your shoulder, yet she hastily removes it as both of you hear a powerful voice that would make anyone shudder. You sure have a steady hand, Brother Romulus. You hastily turn around and see Inquisitor Ulrich appear from the shadows. Has he been watching you perform the sacrament this whole time? Father Ulrich, you were correct after all. Brother Romulus is ready to become one of us. That is for me to decide. Jean frowns but falls silent, pursing her lips. Ulrich turns his heavy gaze to you. For 2 years I have been watching you, Romulus. Now the time has come for you to join our ranks. Ulrich hands you a scroll marked with the silver seal of the Inquisition. Brother Romulus, the church is appointing you an Inquisitor. You are to return to your native land and protect our true faith against heresy. Jean pierces you with an intent stare. You bow your head and accept the scroll from Ulrich's hand. Then you solemnly fasten the Inquisitor's insignia to your belt. By the will of the church and the gods themselves, you are now a servant to the Holy Order of the Inquisition. Henceforth, your life belongs to the Order. You shall fight against any apostasy that threatens the church and her flock. Cast aside your doubts, Inquisitor Brante, and be ready to fulfill your new righteous duty. Prepare yourself to set out for Anazet. A special assignment awaits you there. Sister Jean will accompany you as a fellow Inquisitor. She will tell you everything else you need to know. With that, Ulrich abruptly turns away and leaves the temple. Your answer is not required. The will of the church is the law, and you must abide by it. You are left alone with Jean. Your sister in faith betrays no emotion. Her words sound sharp and dry. The time has come to bid the capital farewell, Brother Romulus. We are leaving for Anazet tomorrow. With that, Jean leaves you alone in the temple. You turn back to the altar and finish your prayer. Alright, so now we are an Inquisitor. Interesting. I also need to get my willpower up. I don't like it being that low. Wonder what the other path would have been then if you weren't an Inquisitor. You'll receive your second sacrament. You are now rightfully ordained as a priest. I also wonder what would have happened if you had the what was it, the matters of the heart, which is the romance thing. I wonder what that would have entailed if you had the romance situation with Jean. Probably would have been the same, but I don't know. The year 1137 winter, Diamant stands trial. Just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the streets. Junius Diamant, Patriarch of Astinia and one of the leaders of the New Faith, will stand trial before a church tribunal. The Order of the Inquisition has accused Patriarch Junius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. The Holy Tribunal claims that Junius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their cursed powers. And what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lotless, a dangerous secret society based in the imperial capital. Members of the society has been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Now the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition in Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the New Faith, and the end of days for Junius Diamant himself. The Inquisition will make the most of its opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome Patriarch who dared to shake the foundation of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news of Patriarch Junius's reply to the Holy Tribunal. It is no less stunning than the accusation. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who dares to bring this accusation against me in person, but I want those hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for this slander against me, my flock, the Diamant dynasty, and the Holy Order. I agree to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I will face them on my own land and on my terms. Patriarch Junius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Archnia. Parishes of the New Faith throughout the Empire are now speaking out in support of Junius Diamant. The Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. Their new official stance is that Patriarch Junius has been wrongfully accused, and the Holy Tribunal will now apply more cautious judgment during any further trials against the followers of the New Faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Photis is no longer seen as heresy by the Inquisition. The trial of Junius Diamant has been averted, but the divide within the church is only deepening. The New Faith has directly challenged the Old Faith. The result is uncertain, depending on who you ask. Some say Junius Diamant all but pled guilty. Others believe the Patriarch and the alleged rebellion against the church as well as the Inquisition is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think the entire situation sounds like one of the secret chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Astinia and co-leader of the New Faith remains at his post. But for how long? And how will the Old Faith and the New Faith clash next? Alright, so more issues with the church. I'm sure we're going to run into these issues now. They were always happening in the background, but now we're going to actually have to deal with them. Oh, and then now we're about to go home too. A farewell to the capital. The Reglata and Taurina rivers meet outside the city walls. You've barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing in your face, and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna has come to an end. You arrived here a boy, full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. And now you have to leave, and this thought fills you with gentle sadness. Eterna did not become your home, and yet here you realize that you can be a messenger between the will of the twins and the people. You are the hand that shows the way, the interpreter of the gods, the man who guides others to the peak when they depart for the hereafter. You have never felt so close to the twins, but now you carry within you the love and wisdom of the elder and the law and power of the younger. After your second sacrament, you started seeing the twins' presence in this world everywhere. What will you see back in your hometown or by the silver tree? You have been chosen to serve the Inquisition. Now you are more than a mere priest. You are a shield of the church that wards away its enemies and false doctrines. A pain in your chest, right under the twins' cross, echoes this thought. The schism between the church and the new faith began in Anazet, but the city is still your home. Changes are coming, and as an Inquisitor, you will have to face them. You think of Sister Jean often. She was your only companion during the years of the study at the seminary, and now she will teach and assist you in your service to the Inquisition. What is the connection between you? Who will you become for one another? You exhale and close your eyes, feeling the riverside wind blowing into your face. Many things must have changed back home by now. Does Mother still pray to the twins 3 times a day? What about the others? They used to repeat the sacred words after her back then. What about now? Nathan probably follows Mother's example. Every letter he has sent you has been filled with elation over your choice of the priest slot. Nathan failed to enter the seminary of Anazet. He said he got too nervous, and he wrote that he was ashamed of not being able to follow in your footsteps. But being ashamed of failure is against the commoner's lot, you wrote back. A commoner must humbly accept failure, just as he would accept any other kind of suffering. You should cheer Nathan up by bringing him a souvenir from the capital that will remind him of you, a token of love that says you believe in him. After giving it some thought, you head to the temple for a prayer book. You find the great temple of the twins surrounded by the usual calm and quiet. There are no loud voices coming from the people, no loud cries from the merchants. You approach a small bookstore by the temple grounds and examine the prayer books one by one. You search for one with the proper prayers for everything Nathan needs, for the good of the family, for humility, for meekness, and for following one's lot. A small book finds its way to you. The sturdy leather cover feels good in the palm of your hand. You thumb through the prayer book and nod. Everything you're looking for is here. You leave the capital by the morning after in a carriage hired by the Inquisition. Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you ever see the capital again? You do not know. The prayer book is in your hands. Okay, so we got +1 with Nathan. And I guess that'll be it. So I guess each path also kind of corresponds with one of the relatives as well. So the noble path corresponds with your brother. The lotless path corresponds with your sister. And of course, this path corresponds with your younger brother, Nathan. Nathan. The end of youth. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anazet. All right. And that's the end of this chapter. Chapter 3, as a matter of fact. All right. So let's go ahead and skip on through this. So far, we have diplomacy of 12. Theology is a 19. I could possibly max that out here in a little bit. There's a couple times I could have maxed it out already. Manipulation is an 11. I kind of want to get that to a 13 at some point, but we'll see how it goes. I wouldn't mind having diplomacy at a 13 as well. Valor, it's not going to do me much good, I think. It's most important to the judges. I do need to get this up too. I wouldn't mind having this at a 16, but we'll see how that goes. Scheming is a 7. Again, don't need that. All right, let's continue. I am now 20 years old.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
I swear that voice, it's still never, it's just, I'm never going to get over the fact of that almost Texan accent that he has. Definitely wasn't expecting that. And I think this is a Russian developer too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. You and Jean are returning to Anazet together. You listen to the spinning wheels of the carriage as it makes its way along the road. You see the land of Magra through the window, empty. desiccated by ancient magic. You are home, but you are no longer the boy who took this road to the capital 4 years ago. You are coming back a priest. Could your family ever have imagined that this would be the lot with which you would return? You will begin your service with the Inquisition in your home province. You will be reunited with your family soon. I wonder if that still means we're going to have situations like the stuff with the mayor and stuff like that. I wonder if we're ever going to have, if we're going to have those interactions still. Let's see, outcomes of the chapter. The most important event that will end this chapter, only one of them will happen. I don't remember if that was a thing before too, if it mentioned that, but we'll see. Okay, we can have Shadow of the Will. You follow Ulrich on the path of the will until the very end. Conditions, the Inquisition power has to be 10. It has to be maxed out. Father Ulrich has to be master, and deaths have to be less than or equal to 2. So I already have 1. I can't have another one. Interesting. Cassius faces tribunal. You convict Patriarch Cassius in a holy tribunal. The Inquisition power has to be 7 through 9, I'm guessing. And you also have to have evidence against Cassius. Oh my god. Is this going to turn into another one of those situations with, what's the guy name? I think it was Dorian Addis or something like that. So I guess we're going to have our own Dorian situation. Cassius overthrown. With your aid, the new believers force Patriarch Cassius from his sacred post. Tolerance of faith can be 7 through 9. And you also, once again, have to have evidence against Cassius. All-powerful Ulrich. Ulrich bends the city to his will. The Inquisition has to have 10 as well. Interesting. Huh. I don't know what that master means, but I don't know how likely it would be for me to get this. I really would like to have this, but the likelihood of me having less than or equal to 2 deaths is really tough. That means I can die once, and I can't die anymore after that. So, Torch of the New Faith. The new believer zealots exact vigilante justice against the enemies of their doctrine. Tolerance of the faith has to be equal to 10. Interesting, there are more. And true death, of course, I can die completely if I have 4 deaths. Alright, so I want to shoot for that Shadow of the Will, but it looks like it's either going to be Shadow of the Will or all-powerful Ulrich, but we'll see how things go, and we'll see what other triggers we have to contend with. The most important events that may happen to the House of Brante at the end of this chapter. So we still have the other things. So I can't be branded by dishonor. The family can't. Well, okay. So the conditions is you can't be branded by dishonor, and the family cannot be in ruins. And then you have to have a reputation greater than or equal to 8. Wealth greater than or equal to 5, or unity greater than or equal to 3. So if we can continue on this path and get our reputation up, then we might be able to get ennobled by the sword. Favored by the overseer, the Brante family becomes a hereditary dynasty of the sword, earning the favor of overseer Gaius Tempest and a place at court. Let me see. We would have to have glorious bloodline or a family of means. Likelihood of getting that very low. So not saying I wouldn't like it, but it's going to be hard. You succeed your elder brother Stefan as the heir of the Brante family. I can't get that because of my, of course, me being the priest or whatever. So I don't think this is even possible. Family falling apart, very possible. So events that can happen to the Brante family in this chapter. Family of means. We just have to have a wealth equal to 10. Mother recovers. Oof, this is gonna be tough. And I really need this to happen. So yeah, I really need this to happen. Unity has to be greater than or equal to 8. Gloria Brante. Robert adopts Gloria and she becomes a full-fledged Brante. If I do this though, we'll get branded by dishonor. So we'll be screwed at that point. But I think if we do that, we can still get, oh, well, yeah, I think if we get that, then we're pretty much screwed. Huh. Because that's what happened one time before. I think I turned around and agreed to have Gloria adopted, and that pretty much obliterated all of our standing. So that's gonna be oof. Sorry, Gloria, you might get screwed this time around. Branded by dishonor, it has to be equal to 0. Family at peace. You find a way to unite the Brante family and end all the strife at home. Oh, Stefan can be killed in a duel. Stefan Brante, so let me see. Unity greater than or equal to 7. Stefan Brante cannot be killed in a duel. You can't have the secret plot with Stefan Brante. You can't have the secret plot with Gloria. And Gloria can't be betrothed. Huh. Interesting. That's gonna be tough. And let me see. Thomas's new life. Family in ruins. Wealth is equal to 0. Glorious bloodline. We can't be branded by dishonor, and we must have a reputation greater than, equal to 10. Oof. Deeds that you can accomplish on your chosen life path. Evidence against Cassius. You now have irrefutable evidence of Cassius' apostasy. The key to bringing the patriarch down. I have to gather evidence for that. Right to defend the faith. The new believers now have the right to fight back to defend their beliefs. Don't want that. The Latari ritual. You participate in the enigmatic ritual of a long dead race. Join the Latari circle. Collapse of the Inquisition. The Inquisition loses authority and respect in the province. The order is now too weak to make Cassius face the tribunal. New faith persecuted. The new faith faces ruthless persecution throughout Magra with no hope for reconciliation between the two doctrines. Okay. Sections that open in this chapter. Occupation. Yeah, that'll be over there. What does that entail? Inquisition power and tolerance of faith. So I don't want the faith to be tolerant. I do want the Inquisition power to be 10. But I also have to be careful about that because I don't want to trigger it too soon. But if I'm not mistaken, this also kind of screwed me up in one of my other playthroughs. So I think you can have it at 10. When you have it at 10, though, you're going to get an event. And it's going to be a very dangerous event that can knock your stats down. But if you get it back to 10, I don't think it'll trigger another event. I think that's what screwed me up in my Noble playthrough. Or one of my other playthroughs is because I had that happen where it knocked the event down, or the event knocked the stats down, but then I didn't want to get the stats back up because I was afraid of it turning around and triggering again. So have to be careful of that. Have to be careful. And I would assume that I would probably want to do that sooner rather than later, so it doesn't really so I don't have, so I can have a lot more time to try and get that stat back up. Tolerance of the faith. Yeah, I don't think I want the tolerance of the faith back up. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want the tolerance of the faith up. Yeah, it has to be 10. And I don't know which one triggers first, but I'm assuming if it's in this order, then Shadow of the Wheel would trigger. It would trigger first. But if the conditions aren't met, then it will go to this. If conditions aren't met, it will go to the next one. If conditions aren't met, it'll go to the next one. So, but yeah, I don't want that tolerance of faith up. I want that as low as possible. I don't know what it's going to entail, and it may end up getting me killed, but I need to be mindful of that. All right. Let's see how this starts off. I'm assuming it's going to be me going home. Or not. Spiritual guidance. The air in the carriage is stuffy despite the blinds that shut out the sun. It will take time to get used to the heat again. The scorching days are followed by freezing nights, such as the desert in the wintertime. Jean has changed drastically during her months away. You struggle to begin a conversation with her. In the end, she is the first to speak. It is time I told you of our mission in Anazet, Brother Romulus. Then why has the Inquisition decided to assign it to 2 recent seminary graduates? The Inquisition considers me sufficiently prepared for this mission, and I vouch for you. The mission that awaits us will take a long time to complete. I need somebody reliable by my side. Magra has grown restless of late. The teachings of Fotis have taken root here. The local priests reject their duty. They tell their congregations to seek their lots within themselves. They claim the teachings of Saint Isoteus are lies. Don't they see that they're marching straight to the foot of the pillar and dragging their flock along with them? But that's not all. The church received an anonymous letter denouncing Cassius, the Patriarch of Magra, for enabling all manner of sects and heresies in the province and blaspheming against the gods. This report must be investigated, and should we find proof of his guilt, we are to remove Cassius from his post and defrock him. Needless to say, this will not be easy. Right now, the Magran Inquisition is weak, respected neither by the nobles nor the clergy. Until they recognize our authority, they will be unlikely to obey us. Cassius has been patriarch since Photis' demise 5 years ago. He was elected unanimously at the sacred conclave of Magra. He is beloved by his flock and respected by the clergy. We have therefore been strongly advised to investigate this matter in secret. We must restore the authority of the Inquisition. Then, if Cassius is indeed guilty, we must find proof. Then and only then may we accuse him openly. The tribunal hearing against Patriarch Junius Diamant was a disgrace. What happened there must not be repeated in Magra. The church has entrusted Inquisitor Ulrich with this case. We are expected to assist in this investigation however we can and help protect Anazet against heresy. But I think we should be wary of him. Father Ulrich is a ruthless man and a zealous inquisitor, overzealous at times. They say he has burned entire villages to the ground for the sake of the true faith. We will do our utmost to restore the authority of the Inquisition, but I fear Father Ulrich may be inclined to abuse his authority. Please, for our sake, be discreet around him. Either way, our mission will not be simple, but we will restore order in Magra. Let us eradicate every seed of heresy here and uproot the weeds of this new faith. The city that houses the silver tree must remain a symbol of true faith. Can I count on your support, Romulus? Oof. Oh shit. Oh, okay, so if I had Shield of the New Faith, I could have did this. But yeah, I can't. So I can support Jean, or I can evade the question. Well, I don't lose any willpower for this, so I don't think that's bad to do in this particular case. I kind of want to get my willpower up. But since it's going in increments of 5, I can be a little leery about it. So, I'll support Jean. You assure Jean that she has your full support. You are entirely on her side. Heresy will be dealt with, the Inquisition will grow strong, the truth about Patriarch Cassius will be revealed. I'm glad to hear that, Romulus. The city walls of Anazet finally appear on the horizon. Your service to the Inquisition promises to be difficult, but right now you are going home. One thing I also do like about this so far is that it's starting off right off the bat with the overarching issue you can say. Whereas in the Noble playthrough, it kind of had a lot of things going on. You had your family situation going on. You had Stefan's situation going on. You had your judges situation going on with both the different judges. But then, with the elder judge and then the one who was, trying to make deals and really corrupt. And you had the situation going on with the head of the guard and stuff. I like how this is just kind of focused on one thing, one mission. Now, granted, it's probably going to deal with a lot of different people, but it seems like this one is a lot more focused. So I really do like that so far. All right, the year of 1138, you started your work as an inquisitor of Magra. Jesus. Words have been failing me lately. It's not good. Homecoming. The carriage stops. The familiar gate. Your bedroom window. The same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off of when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool. As usual, Father cannot stand the stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. Nathan's shaggy head peeks out from behind the sitting room door. Your younger brother is the first to reach you, crying out with joy. He embraces you tightly. Nathan is now as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders. But he still has the same lost look in his eye he had when he was a boy. You're finally back, Romulus. Home just hasn't been the same without you. And look, you're wearing a cassock, a true priest. I'll never be one, unfortunately. I didn't get into the seminary. He stares at the ground guiltily. You show him the prayer book you brought back. You show him the prayer book you bought for him by the great temple of the twins back in the capital. May the light of the faith shine in your eyes forevermore, brother. Nathan clutches at the little prayer book and nods with gratitude. Mother walks out of the sitting room. Nathan runs to her and she leans on his arm as he leads her to you. Mother's back is bent. She has grown pale, and a thin web of wrinkles covers her face. She can barely stand unassisted. These are the troubling telltale signs of the illness your brother and sister mentioned in their letters from home. Slowly, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies you for a long time. You've been away so long, my son, but it was all for a good reason. I'm so very proud you chose to follow the priestly lot. Never in my wildest dreams did I think my own son would bring the twins' teachings to the world and save other men's soul. To think I held you in these arms not so long ago. Mother's arms are thinner now. They feel nearly weightless. Gloria walks up to you next. She is dressed in men's clothing, including culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. She is almost unrecognizable in her new attire. There are dark circles under her eyes, as though from lack of sleep or frequent tears. Her first words to you are dripping with sarcasm. Well, hello there, my brother the priest. Can't say I expected that. You'll be the one watching over our souls now, I suppose. You offer a composed response. You will always be ready to help Gloria if she finds herself in need of spiritual guidance, but you are not just a priest, you are also her brother. Gloria breaks into an involuntary smile. She finally lets her feelings show and embraces you. Loud footsteps echo down the stairs. Stefan appears. Your elder brother has grown taller and more broad-shouldered. You notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. Stefan greets you politely with a solemn nod. Greetings, brother. It's a shame you returned with a cassock rather than a sword, but at least you weren't left a commoner like our youngest brother. You may not have earned a noble lot, but your cause is important to the Empire. The Brante family welcomes you. As he says these words, you hear the door to Father's office open. Father looks older, his back is hunched, and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. He stops a few steps away and examines you from head to toe. You meet his gaze. When I sent you off to the capital, I didn't expect you to return like this, but you have chosen your own path. I am saddened that you won't follow in my footsteps, but such is the will of the twins. I accept your decision. With a bit of hesitation, Father comes close and pats you on the back. Well then, time for dinner. Your mother has prepared a veritable feast for you. For the first time in years, the entire family is together. You can finally spend some time with another member of your family today. I don't think I need to spend time with Lydia because her stats are pretty high. Oof. I asked Gloria about her life. That will piss Stefan off even more. I could chat with Nathan. That would bring his up to 5. Or I could talk to Stefan. That would bring it to 0 and bring Gloria to 1. Let's take a look at our family then, shall we? Let's see. Where is it? There we go. So, Stefan, what's the highest this can go? So I'm guessing 5, okay. So 5 is the highest it can go. I could max out Nathan. I could make Gloria slightly happier. Stefan is indifferent. Oof, this is just kind of bad all the way around. But I kind of don't want to rock the boat either. So I think I'm going to chat with Nathan. Because if I talk to either one of them, it would raise one of their stats, but it's also going to make it worse. And I really don't need to burn bridges even more than they're already kind of burned. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some more events with Stefan and Gloria where I can kind of increase those stats more. So I'll just talk with Nathan right now and just max his out. At the table, you ask Nathan how he's doing. Your inquiries make your little brother uncomfortable. I worked as hard as I could, studied theology, read books, but during my examination at the seminary, I started talking about something else entirely. I don't know what came over me. The priest asked me, what is the manifestation of the twin gods' love for the people? And I went and said, forgiveness. What are you talking about, son? The twin gods could never forgive anyone for any sin. Otherwise, how could we fulfill their design? Everyone would just do whatever they wanted, since the gods would forgive them anyway. Sorrow fills Nathan's eyes. The priest was furious too. Out of the seminary, you ignoramus, he shouted. So I left, and now I don't know what to do with myself. Just keep silent then. Quit prattling on about the troubles of the common folk. That's your lot for you. Instead, I'd like to hear what Romulus has to tell us about his life in the capital. Have you made any useful acquaintances? Our family would benefit from some good connections right now. You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna. You resume your conversation with Nathan later that night. You sit together on the back porch, away from the rest of the family. I'm glad someone cares about me, brother. You've always been there for me. It must be painful for you to see me grow up to be so useless. Things are bad for me. I try to at least look after Mother. You can ask her questions, but her answers often don't make sense, and she keeps falling silent in the middle of a conversation like she did today. Her illness is consuming her. You know, if Mother passes, she may not be reborn. I dread to think what will happen to Father then, and to Gloria. Gloria has had a hard time of it lately too. Stefan has treated her like dirt for the last year. I think he plans to drive her out of the house so her origins won't taint the Brante name anymore. Stefan only cares about one thing now, getting our family ennobled by the sword. So for him, Gloria is just an obstacle between him and his goal. You spend quite some time in silence, gazing at the radiant stripe of the shining pillar as it grows more and more luminous against the darkening sky. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. Alright, so Nathan is now maxed out and I didn't burn any other bridges. The Sacred Conclave. Spring has come. The nightly chill of the desert loses its bite. The daily heat dissipates in gentle rains. At the local Inquisition ward, you are greeted only by dust, dirt, and silence. The building is completely abandoned. It takes both of you several weeks just to make it presentable again. Father Ulrich is yet to arrive. You and Jean have kept your arrival a secret, but you cannot wait any longer. Today is the day when a sacred conclave must assemble in every province of the Empire. You will have to make your presence known to the brothers and sisters of the clergy and announce your mission to purge heresy and apostasy. During a sacred conclave, each province elects a patriarch to represent the faith for the next 8 years. In the old days, every man and woman of the flock had to attend the conclave, but that tradition is long gone. Now only the clergy have a say. Conclave Day is a sacred day indeed. On this day, the twins themselves descend and reside within the temples of the empire. They bear witness to the chosen patriarchs of each province, the holiest among equals, the men who will speak to the gods themselves on behalf of their flock. Cassius assumed the patriarchate after the tragic death of Patriarch Photis and has not been presented to the twins yet. Nevertheless, there is no doubt Cassius will be elected by the clergy of Magra once again. The conclave is held at the temple by the silver tree. The last time you went there, you were just a little boy. You were struck by the tree even then, but now you gaze at it as though it were an old friend. As an Inquisitor, you no longer need to touch the tree to feel the life beating within it. The square by the silver tree is rarely crowded, but today it is packed. All three lots are represented here in ample numbers. The nobles repose in soft chairs in the shade of the tents. The clergy file into the temple one by one. The common folk swarm the square, pushing and shoving for a better view. You hear cries of joy, a hum of approval, and applause. The common people do indeed favor Cassius. You and Jean have to push through the crowd to reach the temple doors. Not even Turner had crowds this big. I thought we'd be trampled for sure. Before entering the temple, you place your hand on the trunk of the tree. It is remarkably warm. At least one thing is still the same. There are over 100 people in the temple. All the clergy of Magra are gathered here, from the abbots of the principal Magran temples to traveling preachers. Most wear the black robes of the old faith. In the far corner of the hall, however, you see several priests of the new faith. Few in number and dressed in white, they keep to the side. You and Jean sit in the front row. The others eye you with curiosity and suspicion. You catch your names among the whispers that fill the temple. It seems your arrival was a secret to no one. There is so much fear in them, so much hatred. Do you think they're hiding something, or has someone poisoned their minds against our order? The cheering of the crowd drowns out Jean's words. Patriarch Cassius is approaching, blessing the people around him as he crosses the square. The patriarch enters the temple. The doors are locked behind him. The clamor grows quiet. Cassius has a pleasant look about him. A sturdy middle-aged man, he greets people with a soft, peaceful smile. Those gathered at the temple rise from the pews to greet the patriarch. The priests in white cassocks are the last to rise. One of them, a priest of considerable age, catches your attention. You are struck by his clean-shaven face and the uncannily sharp look in his eye. The trim of his cassock is embroidered with gold, and his hands rest upon a long staff to help him stand. That is Father Leonard. He's been the abbot of this temple for over 20 years. I remember him as a wise and kindly man, but my sorrow for him knows no measure now. Photis' teachings have clouded his mind. The patriarch greets the audience with a dignified bow, and everyone takes their seats. Cassius slowly ascends the stairs to the altar of the twins and kneels before their images. The words of his prayer echo throughout the temple. O heavenly lords, O givers of life, the younger, defender of the world, judge and counselor, the elder, the spirit of truth and love, filling everything with his presence, we humbly abide by your law, by the three lots of Isataeus. May the righteous achieve eternal bliss, and may the sinners suffer retribution without mercy. In your sight, I hereby relinquish my authority as patriarch. May you allow your children to elect him who shall take my place. The air feels heavy, as though it is pressing down on you. The priest remains motionless, holding their breath. An incredible, all-consuming silence falls upon the room. In this silence, you hear the faint patter of footsteps across the temple. The moment slowly passes. The illusion fades. The air becomes light again. A staff taps against the tiles. The leader of the new faith approaches Cassius. We have seen their sign. The twins are with us now. I, Father Leonard, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree, declare the sacred conclave open. Father Cassius, would you please join the rest? With a smile, Cassius does so. And so the conclave of Magra must elect the patriarch to speak to the twins on behalf of our faith for the next 8 years to come. Speak the names of those who are worthy. Several dozen voices answer his call, all at once. Cassius, Cassius, Father Cassius. No other candidate is mentioned. Father Leonard rubs the bridge of his nose before he continues. So, you have spoken the name of Father Cassius. I hear none other. Then let us begin the ceremony. The acolytes give every priest 2 stones, one black and one white. An enormous bowl is brought to stand before the altar of the twins. Once the stones have filled the bowl, Father Leonard begins to count them, dividing them into 2 piles on either side of the altar for all to see. I count 1 black stone for each new believer here. Does this mean that all the others trust him without reservation? Then let the will of the sacred conclave be done before the watchful eye of the twins. Father Cassius shall be our patriarch. He shall be our voice before the twins and our mentor in this earthly realm. Cassius steps before the altar, the soft smile still on his face. Before the image of the twins, I accept my burden as patriarch of Magra. May the wisdom of the younger and the power of the elder grant me strength in this service. The priests rise from the pews once again to cheer for the new patriarch. Father Leonard raises a hand calling for silence. Brothers and sisters, this conclave is concluded. But before we exit this temple to announce the name of the new patriarch to the people, we must first hear out the Inquisitors who have come to our province. They will proclaim their mission so that each priest may relay their words to his or her parish. You and Jean take a step toward the altar, but an unexpected creaking sound startles those within the temple. The temple doors burst open. An armed squad marches into the hall, champions of the faith, warriors of the Order of the Inquisition. They are led by Inquisitor Ulrich. He holds an edict sealed with 3 seals. Who dares violate the laws of the sacred conclave? The doors of this temple must remain closed until a new patriarch has been elected. The patriarch's voice booms within the temple walls, as though the twins themselves share his indignation. God. And yet Inquisitor Ulrich only raises his eyebrows in response. But Patriarch, the conclave has concluded, has it not? I am Inquisitor Ulrich. I have been sent by the Order of the Inquisition to purge the last remnants of Char Milanatus' legacy from your province. Anyone insolent enough to stand in my way shall be branded an ally of the heretics and sentenced to true death. You exchange a quick glance with Jean. Purging the dark legacy of Char Milanatus from the province may be a trumped-up excuse, but it grants an Inquisitor incredible authority. Here in Magra, it is all too easy to tie anything and anyone to the rebellious Duke. There are 2 other Inquisitors present here. I want their voices to be heard, not just by the members of the conclave, but by the common people as well. The clergy of Magra often tend to ignore or utterly distort the will of the Inquisition. I am here to prevent this from happening. His words are met with indignant cries, but Father Ulrich remains still, his piercing gaze transfixing Cassius, waiting for an answer. The patriarch is perplexed at first, but he slowly begins to regain his composure as he recognizes the support he enjoys on the part of the clergy. You have no right to bring strife to this house of the twins. Magra never required the attention of the Inquisition when I was its patriarch, and nothing has changed. Our congregation's faith is stronger than ever. The confidence in his voice grows. The other priests support him with shouts of encouragement. Inquisitor Ulrich takes several steps toward Cassius. Those are powerful words, Patriarch. The Order of the Inquisition wants to determine whether or not they are true. If they are, we will leave Magra. Ulrich gestures for you to come closer. But I have interpreted your speech, Inquisitor. Come, make our intentions known. I am certain the people will give you their due attention now. Brother Romulus, kindly address those who have gathered here today from the temple steps. Oof. Oh, great. Well, I immediately don't want to do this. Tolerance of the faith. Tolerance of the faith will be +1. Reputation will go up +1. Gene will go down by 1. Father Leonard will go up by 1. Accuse the Mograns. The Inquisition's power will go up by 1. My reputation will go up by 1 still. Oh, yeah, this is just perfect right there. That is everything I want right there. So, I will address the gathering with words of accusation. You stand on the steps of the temple. The crowd watches your face, distraught. The clergy stare at your back, wary and alert. It is as though the entire city has gathered to hear you speak. You proclaim that the Inquisition has come to Magra because this province is a boundless field in need of weeding. You are here to weed out all heresies and sects, all apostates, mages, and witches. Those whose faith is weak should expect no mercy from you. You will uproot their false doctrines and burn their sinful bodies at the stake. You hear murmurs among the crowd. They expected to hear the name of the new patriarch, not a furious tirade. Patriarch Cassius steps out from behind you. He raises his arms to the sky to quell the growing discontent. My friends, this Inquisitor is young and zealous. His words may be harsh, but his intentions are laudable and virtuous. The Order wishes to weed out heresy. Such is their calling, but we all know that we are free of sin. There are neither witches nor apostates among us. And now, good Inquisitors, excuse me while I announce the conclusion of the conclave to my flock. You breathe a sigh of relief only when you return to the Inquisition ward. Both Jean and Ulrich are clearly pleased with your speech. I was told to act as your mentor. The first thing I will tell you is this. Always remain just as resolute and steadfast as you were today. We are the servants of the twins. We are their shields, their sword of punishment. Remember this, and cast away all fear and indecision. Inquisitor Brante, you reminded the sinners of Magra that retribution is inevitable. Every man and woman in this province shall know that the Inquisition will pursue all heresy relentlessly. There is no punishment we cannot employ to crush the apostates. You two will handle the affairs of the Order while I investigate the Patriarch's schemes. Dismissed. Alright, so we've had our first real situation as an Inquisitor now. We've made ourselves known. And yeah, we've let everybody know in town that yeah, the Inquisitor is the Inquisition is here. So yeah, nobody expects the Inquisition. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I gotta say, I am really enjoying this so far. I know this is a shorter video than normal, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far. It seems, like I said, it seems like it's more cohesive. It seems like it makes a lot more sense than the other ones did to me, structure-wise. And I know I'm just at the beginning, and things could change very quickly. But so far, I'm really enjoying this. Also, gotta say, I like Father Ulrich so far, because now I know I've been told in the comment section that he's not a good guy, and I'm sure he's not. Nobody in this game is good. But at the same time, I do like the fact that we have someone, a mentor or something, that is actually by our side and actually standing with us. Unlike, I can't remember his name, the Judge Elborn or whatever his freaking name was, who wanted us to do everything and just was completely powerless, even though he was a very powerful judge. So, you know, I do like the fact that we have someone here who's, you know, standing with us and want us to fight, and he's willing to stand with us when these things actually do break out. So I really do appreciate that. Now, I know Jean is a little bit worried, and she should be, and it's a nice balance to have her there to kind of balance out Father Ulrich's straight up zealousness. But at the same time, it's just good having somebody in your corner that's actually in your corner, as opposed to, oh yeah, I want you to go ahead and do this, but if it screws up, you're on your own. You know, I can't help you, even though I'm the Attorney General. So, you know, I really do appreciate that. But yeah, really enjoyed this so far, and I hate to cut this short, but I have to, because I got to get this edited and I have to get prepared for tomorrow. So if you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. I have a lot of things on the channel, and I have a lot of other things planned in the future. Like tomorrow, I do want to go ahead and play some other games as well. There's, I think it was Root 96 or 99. I can't remember the name of it. I just purchased it the other day. I didn't know it came out, I think Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. But or Monday. It might have been Monday too. I'm not sure. But I want to go ahead and play that. There's also Black Book. I want to do a little bit more research on that, but I do think I'm going to play it on the channel. Not sure about that yet. There's also Fallen Hero, which is another choice of games game, and it's a really good game. It's actually probably my favorite game out of all the choice of games. I know I've talked a lot about games like what was it, Sabers of Infinity and Guns of Infinity. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the Hero Rise trilogy, the first trilogy. The rest of them, but the first trilogy was really good. I enjoyed every single one of those games. The ending was great. Everything about those games were really good. But Fallen Hero was just completely different. Fallen Hero, I haven't played a game like that so far, and I can't even think of anything that comes close to it. It was just really good. The writing was really good as well, and I wouldn't mind playing that on the channel as well. It's a really great game. I can't wait for the sequel to come out, and I don't know how many books are supposed to be in the series, but I think it's supposed to be quite a few. I've talked about this before in Sabers of Infinity and Guns of Infinity, but yeah, that's also another one I wouldn't mind playing on the channel. And there are other games too that I wouldn't mind playing as well, and I also want to do some streams and stuff later on. But again, if you have any suggestions for game, please leave them in the comment section. I do read the comments. They come to my phone, so I do get them pretty much immediately once they do come. If I don't respond, it's either because I'm at work or I'm asleep or something like that. But yeah, if there's any suggestions for games, I'm more than happy to hear them out and take a look at them. And you know, who knows, if you know someone that's made a game or something like that, and you think it might be interesting and think it might be something I might be interested in, by all means, let me know. I would definitely give it a shot at the very least and see what, you know, what it's like. So yeah, but yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section. And I think that pretty much covers everything. Like I said, if this doesn't come back tomorrow, it'll be the day after tomorrow. I might even release both of them at the same time. It just completely depends upon how much time I have. If I have as much time as I think I'll have, then I can record an episode of this and an episode of one of the other games I plan on doing. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.